everyone, it's me, Movie Master. Today I want to talk to you guys about a fear, an irrational fear that a lot of us have in the movie collecting community, myself included, and it's a fear that is very irrational, like I just said. It's a fear that physical media, DVDs, Blu-rays, Laserdisc, VHS, CDs, vinyl, and you can include also books because it's a form of physical entertainment, that they will one day disappear completely from the market. You won't be able to buy them, you won't be able to view them because you won't be able to find the players to view them. It's it. It's over. Finito. Time to throw the towel. That's it. No, I'm here to tell you, I'm going to make a not so bold statement, prediction. I'm going to be Nostradamus here, that physical media is never, ever, ever going to die. It's always going to be around. You're always going to be able to find a DVD or a Blu-ray or a Blu-ray 4K or a VHS, all of this. And it's because you're not alone. There's hundreds, if not thousands of people who watch this stuff. And just because something new is in the market, which is not really new, and streaming's been around for 10 plus years at this point. Sure, there's newer streaming services coming out almost every week, but as a form of entertainment, it's not new, and it's still available. I tend to notice this fear coming around every couple of years because of something happening. I recall back in 2010, 2011, that's the year that Blockbuster filed for bankruptcy, people sounding the alarm that Blockbuster's days were numbered, and so was physical media. Because that was around the time that Netflix was raising in popularity. And they were already talking about how Blockbuster lost its opportunity to purchase Netflix and blah, 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 blah. So they were saying that in 10 years' time, DVD won't be around. Then in 2013, the same thing happened. Blockbuster eventually went under, and people were saying, yeah, physical media's days are absolutely numbered. It was in 2016 when VCRs and the last VHS player was made in 2016 in Japan. It was like a VCR DVD combo. And they were saying, yeah, you won't be able to buy movies on a VHS format, even though by that point, the last VHS that was made was in 2006. I think it was History of Violence. Those were the last ones. And fast forward to today, you can still buy movies on VHS. In fact, they're making tapes. They have a lot of small little boutique labels that are making them. And you also have people making bootlegs. So there's definitely a market out there. Same thing with DVDs. Believe it or not, even though DVD is a standard form of definition, it's 480. It's 480p. It's, you're not going to get better quality out of a DVD. You can obviously upscale it to the best possible quality with a Blu-ray player, but it's still 480. People still buy them. It actually still, this outsells Blu-rays and Blu-ray 4Ks. And it's mostly because of convenience. I sometimes still buy DVDs because it's cheaper, especially if it's a drama or a movie that I'm not too crazy about. I still buy the DVD because it's, very convenient. These formats still exist, and they can coexist with digital. Just because something new is in the market doesn't mean the other has to disappear. Just go back in time to other things like newspapers. Newspaper was the way to read your news, and any form of other entertainment was through a newspaper. Eventually radios came about and the news was on the radio, but it doesn't mean that newspapers disappeared. When TV came around, they thought radio would disappear. There's even a song about it. 2023, radio is still around. And the same thing with the rise of streaming. People have said that the days of cable are numbered. There's still people who use cable. There's still hundreds of people who still use cable and will still be using it. I think, live TV and streaming will coexist. Same thing with physical media and streaming. They both can coexist. But most people think it doesn't make sense. People kind of feel that it's this bubble where what they see within their group of friends who are not as much of movie fanatics, they don't care about physical media, so it must mean that it's gone. But just how you are collecting this stuff and watching it on physical, there's hundreds, if not thousands of people just like you out there who buy this stuff and view it on physical media and will do so. Will it, become less and less as the years go on? Yeah. And Obviously, newer generations won't care about this as much, but there's still going to be younger generations who are going to be interested in physical media, because I see it today with vinyl. There's people who never even grew up with vinyl and are actually appreciating the format. Even audio cassettes. Like, I never thought in my lifetime that audio cassettes would make a comeback, but they are. I went to a record store not too long ago, and they had audio cassettes and even the players. You can actually buy the players. If you go online, you can buy, if you wanted to. I mean, I don't collect this, but if you want to buy 8-tracks, you can buy the players. You can buy the actual players brand new. It's insane. It's crazy. We're living in a world where it's quote unquote for some people dying, but it's so highly accessible and cheap too. You know, it's no longer do we live in the days where DVDs are $30-40. I mean, there are some exceptions, some rare titles, but for the most part, you can buy movies for as cheap as $3-4 and sometimes even $1. The Dollar Tree. There's always going to be a venue for them. And of course, there's counter arguments. They're like, oh, you go to brick and mortar stores, but they don't have them anymore. You go to a brick and mortar store like Walmart and their aisles are shrinking, or they're not putting movies out. And I see this in a lot of, people's hauls, specifically a YouTuber that I've been watching for many, many years now, Cool Duder. He'll go out and they haven't put out the movies yet. They're late to putting out the new releases, and I read comment sections, and people say the same things. That you see, this is just proving the fact that no one cares about physical media anymore. It's gonna die, And yeah, you go to Target too, and they no longer have movies at the front. They mostly have books, or their aisles are shrinking. What's happening is that this medium that used to be both for collectors and for the common person is shrinking to just the collectors. And you would think the collectors is probably 5 or 10 people. No, it's still a lot of people collect movies. It's still $1 billion industry. It's crazy to come to a conclusion, a pessimistic conclusion that there's no way, we have to prepare the doomsday alarm. There's no way that we'll be able to buy movies. When in fact, today's era, you can watch a lot of movies that have never been seen with such great quality. Movies I never thought would get a 4K or a Blu-ray release are getting them. Old school horror movies that are so obscure that the common person wouldn't care about. And that's because it's catered to movie collectors. All these companies, Kino Lorber, Shout Factory, Vinegar Syndrome, Arrow, they're there for the collectors, And you look at even some old, movies that were just available on VHS are getting great treatments now on Blu-ray and 4K. So I think it's just time to let go of this fear that, oh no, it's now not 5 years, it's now in 2 years. 2 years you won't be able to get these things. It's time to let go of that. Enjoy your collection. Enjoy the movies that you have. Let go of that fear that you won't be able to find them. Yeah, it's going to be mostly online. It's mostly going to be stuff, through websites. And I do predict that there's going to be more companies coming out in the next couple of years that are going to cater even more to the collector. Cater more to what you like. And I think there's even going to be more original content that you might have never thought would exist that's going to be catered to, us, the collector. I have that belief. And of course, there's also this other thought, which I'm going to be doing a video on this, that streamers like Netflix, Apple TV, they don't release their stuff on physical. So you have people putting them out on, bootleg sites. There was one called Stinky Tuna, which no longer exists, but there's a couple of others out there that have, all these movies out on Blu-ray and 4K. They're bootlegs, but you can still purchase them. But, Disney and all these companies, they're paying attention to this, and they're eventually going to release a lot of these shows in the long run, like The Mandalorian, the Obi-Wan show. They're going to eventually release them on Blu-ray and DVD. They just pay attention to the numbers. They pay attention to how many people would probably purchase this, how many people are watching this on the platform, and how many would actually buy it. Because they have released stuff before on DVD, like Stranger Things, you know, and a couple of other movies and shows. So I can understand where people are coming from when it comes to the fear that physical media has no place in the digital world. But it's just going to become, there's that word, niche. You know, it's just going to become something for a niche market of collectors, people who only, you know, I don't want to say hipsters, because we're not. It's just people who actually really truly care about the format, and that's how it's going to be. And there's nothing wrong with that. There's absolutely nothing wrong with that. So those are my thoughts. You know, for anyone who has that fear that physical media is going to disappear, trust me, it won't. And if it does, you can come back, you know, 20, 30 years time and tell me in the comment section in caps, you know, really big caps, saying, "I told you so. It's disappeared." Anyway, hope you guys enjoyed this video. I'll be seeing you on the next one. Take care. Bye.